Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Samasta Janakalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram. Somebody is going to do the summary today. Oh, I think it's Parveen. Yeah. I don't know why
Yes.
I can't get out of this screen. Ah, I can't move my screen. Ah, that's it. Okay. Sorry. Okay, just a second. I have to. Please, Parveen, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Hari Om. Namaste, everyone. It's a quick review of chapter 4, Gyan Karma Sannyas Yoga. So here, the Lord is focusing from moving us from the individual to the larger picture, to be without boundaries. So we covered a few different topics there, the Lord and incarnation, dharma, the Varna Vyavastha, the karma cycle. So Lord has taken several births and remembers them all, and so have we. But since we are jivas, we forget and we don't realize our full potential. So we end up in reincarnation. But the Lord takes birth out of his own free will and hence incarnation and not reincarnation. This was like new to me to realize the importance of these two words. When unrighteousness increases, Bhagwan takes avatar and protects the sadhus, people who follow the righteous path uncompromisingly. The Lord eliminates the evil, either those who are destroying the fabric of the society, either by putting them on the right path or really destroying them. So Hindu Dharma is Sanatan Dharma. Bhagwan comes to re-establish it. So what's dharma? What unites, what integrates an individual as well as a society in thoughts, feelings, actions of love, trust, loyalty, honesty is called dharma. What brings disintegration, that is feelings of dislike, hatred, violence, is adharma. So when vision of oneness, love, and service goes down, adharma increases. Anyone who works for dharma is a manifestation of the Lord. And this is not just Hindus, but anyone around the world. And then Bhagwan describes the Chatura Varna, where humans are categorized according to their karma, that is the actions, and gunas, it is the attitude in action. And this, interestingly, is done for the effective execution of any task, success of any organization, family, society, or the world at large. So as it is said, humans are born equal, but it is in the sense that they are capable of doing something. And when they are born uncultured and unadulterated. So based on individual talents or inclinations, Bhagwan says that they are described in 4 groups: Brahmanas, the thinker class, the visionaries; Kshatriyas, the administrators who help with execution; Vaishyas, dealing with money matters, they produce wealth; and Shrama, that's the hard labor group doing the legwork. So every karma here is important. There is no superiority or inferiority, as roles are needed for smooth functioning. And that establishes the dharma sanstapna. And this is so true. I was just comparing with one of my projects that we execute. There is a strategy person, then is a product management, comes to development, there is a UI designer, coders, quality assurance, and then going on to, customer support and so on. So each role is important. People can move from one to another. They can pick up traits. And that's what the Lord says. So the division or the difference come based on the gunas, that is the attitude. So one can perform an action totally selflessly, that is the Brahmanatva, or selfless plus one's own interest. The Kshatriyas are totally towards one's own self-interest. So I was thinking maybe I'm towards the third and then moving towards the second one here, Kshatriya, and eventually in life we want to be the totally selfless one. So karma doesn't make one superior or inferior. It is the attitude with which we do the action makes it superior or inferior. If everyone thinks and acts towards the common good, that will establish the dharma stapna. One does not have to remain in the same category forever. They can learn new things and move to the higher category. So the Varna Vyavastha is a system which says, let there be difference in action, but oneness in attitude. I think that was so beautiful to understand, and the taboo that Hinduism has had, because of the caste system, but how beautifully it's explained and probably got distorted over the years. And then we went over the karma cycle. So again, the Lord says, we don't have to be a dot. We have to expand to our fullest extent. So as per Dharma Shastra, karma is the obligatory duties, the nitya karma, the kartavyas we have to follow or do on our behalf. Akarma is not doing these obligatory duties, and vikarma are the prohibited actions. So we get caught in the karma cycle, birth after birth, because even though every individual is the Brahman, the Sachin, Satchitanand, and there is happiness, fulfillment, and peace amongst us, we are looking for happiness. Where it is? In Vastu Vyakti Paristhiti, that is object, people, or situation. And we do actions or karmas which bring joys and sorrows, leading to likes and dislikes, and then more karmas, leading to the impressions or the vasanas and making personalities. Instead of this, Bhagwan is asking us to do the karma yoga. And with that, the dependency on the Vastu Paristhiti people will reduce, and by doing the actions with the right attitude, the likes, dislikes will reduce, the mind will be quiet and undisturbed, the impressions will be diminished, and the happiness will be in the joy of the task getting well done. So another point was about the mental fatigue, which I liked so much. We put I, me, mine in everything, and that causes so much of mental fatigue. So we want to move towards the spiritual inspiration. So forget about the mental fatigue. Do your duties, play your roles unaffected from the dot or an individual to a centered self who can remain calm, peaceful, joyful in the midst of the world around as the instruments continue to work. Thank you.
Parveen, that's just amazing. Fantastic. All of you do such a good job. I'm really impressed. I think the note taking is going on very well. Excellent. So we continue today the fourth chapter. We'll conclude that. And if possible, we'll go into the fifth chapter, but we'll see. Okay. So you remember the cycle. This is where we are. Parveen explained it very well. We are not aware of our true self, and we get caught in this cycle, life after life after life. We're looking for that happiness. It's right here within us, but we're looking, searching outside. And in all those things, as we said, and this goes on, and our vasanas, our impressions, the crust is getting thicker and thicker and thicker. So then Bhagwan said, why don't you do this karma yoga? And with this, yes, we become much more peaceful, much more at ease with ourselves, and we are not adding to those layers of impressions, so they are getting diminished. But I'm still not yet aware of my true nature, okay? But my mind is getting quieter. Mind is getting what is said to be purified. This is a very important instrument now to use to know how I am, that Sat Chit Ananda, that place of happiness, that place of fulfillment and peace is already me. This is the best instrument. A quiet mind, a purified mind is the instrument for that. So we said, so far as she has, Parveen has beautifully explained, all these things have been covered, including now the different levels of karma, which is acting as most people are from an individualistic level. Now just expanding ourselves to the karma yoga spirit, working, doing our duty, fulfilling our roles and responsibilities. So in this way, expanding ourselves to include more and more. And ultimately, Bhagwan said, come to that stage where you actually know that you are the true self. Okay, so we'll see how to get there. But Bhagwan is, of course, he's so eager to explain to Arjuna that you will come to know your true self. You will come to operate from that level of centeredness, he says. And when you do that, I'll tell you, Arjuna, this is going to happen to you. And he is going to conclude this entire fourth chapter by giving us that vision of that person. How would I be if I knew that I was that, place of peace and strength? That happiness was me already. How would I know that? And then if I say, I'm not yet there, Bhagwan, is there anything else you would give me to help me go there, make my mind quieter, make my mind more single pointed? Of course, he's going to give us some spiritual practices for that, and you'll see how compassionate can Lord be. And then he will now insist that we should get jnana. You should get knowledge. And he'll say, why so? And then, how do I get this knowledge? That also he'll explain. So everything Bhagwan leaves, as I keep saying, no stone unturned. And so we are now going to see how a wise person actions arise from happiness and fulfillment and not for happiness and fulfillment. All from that joy it comes. All of us have experienced this to a certain extent, but we don't think about it. When you're doing something, say a beautiful function, and things are it's for your child or for somebody in your family, you're not sort of looking for any gains. You're just doing it because you're so happily involved. That joy is already there in you. But now this is what this is going to be for us, is everything that we do will be coming from this state, from that centeredness. Is Bhagwan's going to say this. So I always think of all these things because, I want to see how it can happen. So I was thinking of a bee, and a bee, what does it do? It goes to every flower and then, just puts its delicate proboscis and gets the nectar from the flower, and then goes back to its hive, deposits that bee, and again keeps doing this, busy, busy all the time. But in the process, you see, the honey that it's storing in its beehive is not just for itself, it's for the entire, crowd of bees to take care of them. So not only is the entire crowd of bees taken care of, this is also taken care of. I'm also taken care of if I was that bee, right? So, and not only this will assure that the bees will multiply and generations of bees will continue as well. So it's a wonderful thing. On the other hand, think of a bee which says, I love this nectar so much. So let me put all my feet in that flower and try to suck every bit of it. Its feet will get stuck in the nectar. It's happened to, if you think of that Venus flytrap and all those types of flowers which trap all these insects, if it says, I'm imagining again, the bee says, oh, I want all this honey for myself. Let me do my best and put all my, little feet on this. The feet get stuck and it won't be able to do anything afterwards, right? So this is like doing something only for ourselves. If it's for personal desire, our happiness is limited and we get stuck, right? On the other hand, when we look for larger good, And not only ours, others as well. You see, we are also taken care of in this larger good. We are not left alone. So, this is the person now who's now identifying with the larger good always. And then, such a person's vision comes a very famous shloka, which you must have all heard when we are about to take a meal in the Hindu tradition. This particular, shloka is chanted along with sometimes Annapurne, Sadapurne, Shankara Pranavallabe, or even Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva, which is, comes in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. But this is a very famous shloka, and we'll try to understand the meaning from this point as it is given here, and really what it would mean to me and you as well. Because it's so hard to imagine that feeling of oneness, because this is what they're trying to bring out. So, whoever's going to repeat after me, please go ahead and mute yourself. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi
Brahmahavirhi
Brahmagno
Brahmagno
Brahmanahutam
Brahmanahutam
Brahmaiva
Brahmaiva
Tena Gantavyam
Tena Gantavyam
Brahma Karma Samadhina.
Brahma Karma Samadhina.
So here, this is typical yajna, which you might havan, which you're all very familiar with. They're very famous in our Hindu tradition. There is a person who's, as you can see, taking that ladle and is offering whatever he has in that container into the fire, each time saying Namama Swaha into that fire. And of course, there's always an altar of worship as well, whether it's Agni or Vayu or Indra or, Rama, Krishna, Ganesha, Lakshmi, whatever. So there's an altar. All these are part of a havan. We've seen that. Now let's see each one of them. What is the vision of the person who's understood their true nature and is operating from that centeredness? So what do they do? When they offer that ladle which they use, arpanam, which they use for the arpanam, that ladle in their vision is also that one truth Brahman in their vision. We'll see what it means. And then whatever they offer, Brahmahavihi, whatever they offer, that oblation is also in their clear understanding is that one truth. The fire in that havan is also the truth. And then who is offering it? The person who's offering it is also, they know I'm also that one truth. And then to whom are you offering? Brahmaiva tena gantavyam. For that God, whoever, that also is me, that the one same Brahman. And in this thought, Brahma Karma Samadhina, the whole mind is absorbed. They're completely involved in this thinking of that oneness alone. This is the grand vision of this person. In the yajna, we are talking about it in the yajna, but we really have to see what it means to somebody to say everything is one. So let's see how everything is one.
Sorry, Shashiji, you got muted by mistake from me.
Am I here?
Yes, thank you.
So we're going to see how we are connected all the time, how there is oneness, and we'll analyze from things that we are very familiar with. Now we just think that the air we breathe in and breathe out, which is entering our lungs and are going out, is common to all of us. And how, just stand next to a plant next time and think about it. I'm breathing out carbon dioxide, and that plant is taking it and breathing out oxygen for us. Such intimate connection with anything in the cosmos now, as far as the air that we breathe in. And then look at the constituents of the body. 70% of our body is water. Now you take one drop of that water and analyze that and compare it with the water vapor which is in the atmosphere. or the raindrop, if you take and analyze, or the ocean water, you take a drop, or the clouds and that water there, you analyze it, everything is H2O. Same continuity there as well. And then to be alive, to say that this physical body is alive, it has to maintain a certain temperature. And that temperature is, we maintain that because the earth is maintained at a certain temperature, our atmosphere is maintained at a certain temperature, and thank God for that sun with its radiant heat, which is helping to maintain all this. Otherwise, if it was all cold, no survival for this body. So the heat, the fire in this body is the same everywhere as well. And this minerals, when you analyze all the minerals in this physical body, we share it with the earth as well. And this atmosphere, oxygen, which is present in the earth in the largest quantity, is present even in the largest quantity in this physical body, along with carbon, phosphorus, name it. So share that as well. Now I'm talking about inert things. We share 100%. And of course, the space is shared with everything. Common space. Now you think about the life in you and me. And in that plant, or even in an amoeba, or an ant. I mean, you look at the life principle in every one of them, this life principle is the same. This person who has centered himself, understood or herself to be that place of peace and strength, that place of happiness, has this vision all the time. Now, just as you and me are so clear we are humans, we don't need a reminder at all. Nobody in the morning, I don't get up and tell myself, Shashi, you're a human. It's such a clear, embedded in our understanding. Like that, the person who understands that their true nature is that place of happiness, peace, and strength has this vision that there is a oneness underlying everywhere. Now you see how much they will be able to deal with anything in the best possible way. This is the vision, and this is the meaning of Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi. So next time when we recite that prayer before we eat our food, just connect with that, even a bit of that oneness, and see how different we feel. The food that we take into our mouth, which is going to become a part of me. Once I eat, digested part of me. It's all me. So this is the connection, that vision that we want to sort of keep in our mind, is what Bhagavan is saying in this 4th chapter, vision of the highest person who's understood that I am that happiness principle, ultimate, place where I'm not unaffected by any of the actions. We'll go into that in 5th chapter. The person, Bhagavan will explain some more. And we might say, it's not very easy. Okay, this is Sarvatra Brahma Darshanam, is what happens to us when we get this vision. And we might say, I'm not there, Bhagavan. I'm not there, but I need some more help. I might slowly develop this quality of karma yoga, attitude in everything, but I need other help. Bhagavan says, don't worry. And in the 4th chapter itself, he gives many spiritual practices, and they are called yajnas here. Okay, but understand, they're all sadhanas, they're all spiritual practices. And what we can do is take one or two and build on ourselves. And many of you might already be doing, quite a few of them as well. So we're on the right track. Bhagavan is reassuring us. You just keep doing it. Be perseverant, be diligent, and you perform these yajnas, as he calls them, or spiritual practices, and we will all quieten our minds and get to where we want to understand our true nature. So as you can see, whether it's pranas or pranayama, whether it's swadhyaya and study the scriptures, or whether social service and giving away, our wealth in charity, or certain practices that we bring into our own life, the fasting and everything, all of them will fall into these categories. Right? Whether it's karma, jnana, bhakti, or Raja Yoga, any of these things, choose what suits our temperament, our personalities. And then we put forth our effort sincerely and follow that until we also get knowledge to understand how can I be that oneself? How can I be that Satchit Ananda Brahman, which is everywhere? And then how can I live with that wisdom afterwards? So this is the sadhanas that Bhagwan Shri Krishna gives in the 4th chapter for us to follow. Now, of course, Lord Krishna is going to now say, look, amongst all these yajnas that I'm talking to you, the one which is the best, so he's going to qualify now and he'll say the best, so, is going to be Jnana Yoga. So let's see why it is the best. Why does Bhagwan say better than everything is this Jnana Yajna? So the next person, please unmute.
Yes.
Shreyan dravyamayadyajnat
Shreyan dravyam maya yagyat
Jnanayajnah parantapa
jnana yagya parantapa
Sarvam karmakhilam partha
sarvam karma khilam partha
Jnane parisamapyate.
jnane parisamapyate.
He says, I'll tell you, and in the other shlokas also he will add, he will say, Sarvam Jnana Plavenaiva Vrujinam Santarishyasi. He'll say, with this boat of this Jnana, you will cross over everything, he'll say. That's why you need this boat to cross over everything. This samsara, if you think of it as a bhava sagara, a huge ocean, you need this jnana, he says. And then he says, Jnanagni sarva karmani bhasmat kurute. Tata, he says, even this jnana is going to burn away everything else to ashes. So you really need jnana, he says. And so why is he saying compared to everything else that we are doing, whatever we are doing? Because sometimes you hear bhakti is best, they'll say, somebody will say, no, let's just go through Raja Yoga and then that's the best. And then other people, karma yogis or the people who are doing social service, why? Please don't sit and just keep studying. Come on, go and do some work. We hear all these things. But why is Lord Krishna himself saying you have to get this, jnanam? So here, again, any of those things, whether it's Raja Yoga, whether it's Bhakti Marga, whether it's Karma Yoga, you think all of them involves some action to get somewhere. Actions to get somewhere. So all actions, we have analyzed this many times now, we are all experts in this, is for happiness. Happiness, we're going to keep on looking for happiness if we do any of those actions. That means for Ananda Prapti is why we are doing every action. Every action that we do is for our happiness. Now you see, when we do this Jnana Yoga, meaning study this Jnana and find out how I am that Ananda Prapti, what happens is with that we clearly understand and come to stay in that wisdom that I am that Satchidananda Swarupa, that Ananda that I was searching for everywhere. Arey, it's me. That knowledge comes to us. So when we sacrifice, yajna is always sacrifice. You sacrifice in this fire of knowledge, you put forth your ignorance, you burn your ignorance. And then you find that happiness is my nature. That which I was looking for through all those other practices, Bhagwan Shri Krishna says, that you will come to know through this study, through inquiry. Therefore, he says, get this knowledge. Don't stop, Arjuna. Get this knowledge. With this, all your whatever that you were, all those tasks that you were doing for, all the burning desires that you had, everything will just like ashes will be burnt down, like the raging forest fire, which can destroy everything. Everything will be destroyed, and that jnanam of and wisdom of my nature will be revealed. So I consider jnana yajna as the supreme, most says Bhagwan. Okay, then we say, oh my goodness, really better than tapas, pilgrimage, holy baths, how many things I've been doing. Remember, Arjuna, all those are needed. All those things, practices are very important. If you're doing it, don't put them aside, because it's only helping you to prepare yourself. Don't give up any of those. It's all are helping to make your mind more and more quieter, more and more focused and single pointed. And you do need that to understand this very subtle message of our true nature. So everything has a place. We don't discard, just because, hey, Krishna said Jnana Yoga, forget everything and, no more of what I'm doing. Let's never do that, because that's very helpful. Let it go hand in hand, okay? Like we are learning now in the Bhagavad Gita, we're getting all this knowledge, which is most important. We are also doing so many of our sadhanas, very important as well. So Bhagwan says, you have to gain this knowledge. How do I get this? Now comes another very famous shloka in our Bhagavad Gita. The way we get this knowledge. See, this fourth chapter has so many beautiful topics, okay? So please repeat after me. Tadvidhi pranipatena
तद्विधि प्रणिपातेन
परिप्रश्नेन सेवया
परिप्रश्नेन सेवया
उपदेक्ष्यन्ति ते ज्ञानम्
उपदेक्ष्यन्ति ते ज्ञानम्
ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शिनः
ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शिनः.
Yeah. So he says this is a very famous shloka in our scriptures, in our Upanishads, everywhere. One has to approach a teacher. One has to approach a guru. This is a must for gaining this knowledge. Upanishads cannot be just, understood by ourselves. Because I'll tell you, in the same text, the same word can mean so many things. As soon as we say Atman, right away we think Atma is my true nature. But Atma can mean mind. Atma can mean the body. So many things depending on the context. And if we don't understand, we'll be in that cycle of confusion. So the most important things. So it says tadvidhi pranipatena. So pranipatena means doing pranams, doing sashnanga namaskar. I'll explain that also in a minute. To a teacher, to who's this person? Jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. You go to that person. Jnaninaha, one who has the knowledge. Tattvadarshina, clearly understood. Not just, and should be able to communicate also. There are so many pandits who are very scholarly, but they might not be able to convey it properly, like the way we can grasp it. So anyway, what should a student do? Should approach a teacher with humility. That pranipata, that shashtanga namaskars that we do, we shouldn't go with arrogance. Because I'll tell you that arrogance itself is a block to gaining knowledge. That puts so many barriers. So if you say, let me learn and go with that humility, we gain so much. So that is the pranipata. That is the surrender. Pranipatena, sevaya. First, what you should do seva to the guru. Meaning, be with the guru, tune yourself to the guru. Tune the mind to the guru. Meaning, the teacher might have a way of explaining things. You observe, when you stay with the guru, you have a chance to see the way they teach, the way they communicate certain ideas. And the teacher also has a chance to observe us. The teacher will also say, aha, this is the level of the student. This is how quickly they can grasp. Or, oh, I can see they might get these questions. They can tune themselves to us, our level, so that they can lift us. And we can tune ourselves to their way of thinking, so that then the conversation becomes smoother, easier, and we can clear doubts as well. Then, see, this is again unique. Pariprashnena. Afterwards, you ask the questions. Because we have come to clear our doubts. We have come to get answers to our questions. So in our scriptures, this is greatly encouraged. Upanishads were a dialogue, not one person giving talks all the time. So that dialogue is very important. Dialogue, discussion, discourse. Remember? Discussion and dialogue. Very important. Pariprashnena. So you go to this person, you have that sense of humility, you tune yourself to that guru, and then what happens? You ask questions, and of course, upadikshantite, they will give us the jnanam. Who's this? The person who's wise, who's understood the scriptures, understood the nature of the true self. They will give us the jnanam. And Bhagavan Krishna once again also says, Shraddhavan labate jnanam. We should have faith. If in fact we have faith in everything, but faith seems to be like an allergic word for us sometimes. But we should have faith in the truth that we are seeking. We should have faith in the scriptures that are revealing this knowledge. We should have faith in the guru who's giving us this knowledge, and we should have faith in ourselves that I will get this. So Bhagavan Krishna says, anyway, approach a teacher in this manner, and please have faith, a very important ingredient. What we are learning in our scriptures, we have never heard before. But what it's going to reveal to us is for our supreme best, Paramashreyas. So, when that is for my supreme best, it's about my true identity, let us have faith. Because I want to live to the best of my potential in this life itself. Okay, so Shraddha is very important. And then what does Bhagavan say to Arjuna? Okay, Arjuna, come on, please. Somebody repeat after me. Tasmadajnanasambhutam
तस्मादज्ञानसम्भूतं
हृत्स्थं ज्ञानासिनात्मनः
ऋक्षं ज्ञानासनात्मनः
Yeah. Chitvainam
चित्वैनं
samshayam yogam
संशयं योगम्
आतिष्ठोत्तिष्ठ भारत.
आतिष्ठोत्तिष्ठ भारत.
Just come on, Arjuna, get up, get up. Destroy all that wrong notions that you have had, which is in your heart. With what? Jnana, asina means a sword. You take that and you destroy this ajnana you have, all this confusion you have, all that, look what delusion you had. Get it out. After you destroy that, you get up, you please do your duty, Arjuna. Don't stay like this. Bharata, the most, divine of the Bharata clan. Come on, you get up, you can do it, says Lord in the 4th chapter. So this brings the confusion of Arjuna to a great extent has been resolved with all the teaching so far. This your particular chapter, as he said, is Jnana, Karma, Sannyasa, Yoga. Now the sannyasa is what is going to be tackled with in the next chapter. Because what has happened, it looks as though the wise person has zero desires. Because if the person is acting out of fulfillment, already knows that he's happy, what desires? So as though totally detached, total vairagya, and just is acting in the world. Looks like that. So Arjuna feels, maybe there's another way out for me, rather than karma yoga, rather than fighting this war. And so very innocently, he'll begin the 5th chapter. And this 5th chapter is called Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Okay, chapter 5. So I hope so far everything is clear. In the 4th chapter, we started with the avatars of Bhagavan. We then knew what dharma is and what dharma samstapana, so why the God comes down, why the Lord takes incarnation. Then we saw in the society why there is a division of these different types of people based on their abilities, but because of their attitude, it can become either superior or inferior. We clearly understood that. And then Bhagavan talked about levels of karma at various points, saying that the supreme most is where we are centered. We know that we are happiness and we are not working for happiness. Such a person's vision is great. In everything they see that oneness. How do I get there? Don't worry. There's so many sadhanas for you. Depending on your personality, depending on your nature, your inclination, you choose. And then, but I'll tell you though, you still have to learn. Come to class and learn Bhagavad Gita. And, later study more deeply, in depth as well. Because that will put an end to all your searching. You'll come to know your true self, and then that'll put an end to all your searching. So you do need this knowledge. How do I get this knowledge? Please approach a teacher with the right attitude and, with an open mind. That surrender means with an open mind so that you gain the most. And you will gain this. Come on, Arjuna. You will gain this. So get up. Please involve yourself wholeheartedly in the roles and responsibilities that we are now playing. For all of us Devis, this is the message. Involve yourself in the task that we are the roles and responsibilities. That's it. Don't get into other people's business. Our roles and responsibilities, let us engage. But Arjuna, as I said, gets a big doubt again, So let's see what he will cover in this particular chapter. So Arjuna will start with a question, and because he always clears all his doubts, and Bhagwan will clear more than his doubts as well. And we'll see what exactly is the meaning of sannyas and why karma yoga is absolutely needed for every 99.99% of the people. And then when he talks about sannyas, there'll be 2 levels. So he's going to clear that for us. And then a beautiful shloka which will show what's the means, what's the goal, and then what's the result of doing all this in one shloka. And what exactly does it mean? I want to be an instrument of thy peace, God, which Francis of Assisi also says that. Great Christian mystic, from Italy. He would that beautiful prayer he has where he says, Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. What is it to be an instrument? And then another, again, shloka, just like that Brahmarpanam, another practical thing to show what is that vision once I've understood that my true nature. And now Bhagwan's going to say, you are ready, guys. I'm going to give you a little introduction into meditation in this particular chapter. I would like to see whether I can conclude this. I'm not rushing. I think I'm going slowly, but it'll be good to complete this 5th chapter as well. Let us see. I might take 10 minutes extra. Bear with me, please. So Arjuna's question. Arjuna uvacha.
Arjuna uvacha.
Sanyasam karmanam Krishna.
Sanyasam karmanam Krishna.
Punaryogam cha shamsasi.
Punaryogam cha shamsasi.
Yachreya etayor ekam.
Yachreya etaro etayorekam.
Tanme bruhi sunischitam.
Tanme bruhi sunishchitam.
Arey Bhagwan, give me one path. You're talking sometimes, renounce everything and then you'll be the happiest person. That joy is yours. And then, you'll find that place of peace is you. And then sometimes you keep on saying, go fight, go fight, go fight to me. Involve in karma yoga. Right? So, got it. I got it. Finally, I have to understand that place of strength and peace is me. I got that. But you seem to say that there is a path. Karma yoga is a path. And also this path of sannyas where I can renounce. Right? Renounce all actions. That also seems great. Why not? Between these two, can't you tell me conclusively which is good? You know what he's favoring. We all know what he's favoring. He doesn't want to fight this war still. So that thing is still coming back. He just can't stay away from that. So you see, there is a path called Karma Yoga, which Bhagwan has made very clear. And he's saying there's a path called Karma Sannyasa, which you can take as well. It is, remember in the beginning of 3rd chapter, Arjuna's question was, there are 2 separate paths. One is Karma Yoga, one is Jnana Yoga. So why do you want me to get engaged in the war when there is a beautiful path? That was the question. That's not the question here. The question is, goal is the same, understanding my place of happiness, but there seems to be 2 paths to that same goal. So Bhagwan says, Arjuna, all right. I'll tell you something. You're not ready for it. What do you mean I'm not ready for it? He says people who take up this, this karma sannyasa path already have done a lot of work on themselves. They have quietened their mind to a great extent and they're not so extroverted and fascinated. So already some amount of vairag is already there in them, dispassion. So what they can do is exclusively study. That means they've done their duties. They have, whatever they wanted to get from the world, it's not a burning thing anymore for them. So their likes and dislikes are already reduced and they can solely devote themselves to the study. And what about you, Mr. Arjuna? You're not yet ready. That intense vairagya is not yet there. So please don't rush. Where we are, please grow where we are. For 99.9% of the people, karma yoga is best suited. Therefore, slowly hasten. That means don't stop. You keep moving forward and you will unfold. It's going to come for everybody. Nobody is left behind. Nobody's left behind. And also remember, this type of sannyasi I'm talking, Arjuna, has reduced their likes and dislikes already to a great extent. But Arjuna is actually asking this question and he wants to take this mainly because he dislikes fighting. So it's not coming out of dispassion. He's actually having strong aversion to fighting. So that you're not at all ready then. You're not definitely a sannyasi at this point. The sannyasi here is not somebody who has understood their true self. This sannyasi has not yet understood but has quietened their mind to a great extent. And Arjuna, you're not ready. True, the one who's reduced likes and dislikes will be able to get to that goal faster. It's like taking a flight. But doesn't mean people who are doing karma yoga like me and you won't get there. We will, like that little turtle, we will march on. Whether it's an ant, whether it is that flight, both will go to that same goal, is Bhagwan's thing. But you are not ready, Arjuna. You are not ready. So you see, we go from where we are at an individual level, thinking about, our own little world, to beautifully karma yoga, and then to this point where we reduce so much of our likes and dislikes. Mind becomes very quiet. We become that karma sannyasi. More and more of our time is devoted to this type of learning because we want to understand our best in us, and then we understand the truth, and now we become a supreme sannyasi. That is called Mukhya in Sanskrit. It's called Mukhya Sannyasa. That means already I know my true nature. The person before that sannyasa is called Gauna, secondary. You don't have to know all these words. Secondary sannyasa means they are on the path, but so much of, virag is already there. So much of their likes and dislikes has been, reduced. So Bhagwan is talking about two types of sannyasa here as well. But Arjuna, please remember, you do need that bridge. That karma yoga is a bridge. You do need it. You can't jump from individual, finite. Oh, Shashi, born on this day, have a date of exit is there for me. I'm just this limited person. I'm finite. I know I've limited time span on this earth. All these things I might say. From that to understand, I am that infinite truth. I am eternal. I am that bliss. Not easy. You do karma yoga, please. That bridge is very essential for you. And on the path, you'll also get to karma sannyas and you come to that ultimate sannyas. This is very important for you, Arjuna, to everybody. So please follow this path, neutralize your life, follow karma yoga. Now comes a shloka which is going to tell us the means and then what happens with that means that we do, and then what is that realization, and then what is the result. In such a beautiful shloka, Bhagwan says, Yoga yukto vishuddhatma
Yoga Visuddhatma
vijitatma jitendriyaha
Vijitatma Jitendriyaha
sarvabhutatma bhutatma
Sarvabhutatma Bhutatma
kurvannapi na lipyate.
Kurvannapi na lipyate.
Okay, so the first line here, Yoga Yukto Vishuddhatma Vijitatma Jitendriyaha, is the preparation, okay, the means. Then Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma is that realization. And when I realize, what's the result? Kurvan napina lipyate. So complete shloka, beautiful shloka, shloka number 7 in chapter 5. Remember that. So this is what it's going to tell us. What it'll say, Yoga Yukta. Who's a Yoga Yukta person? The one whose thought, whose speech, whose action complete in line. Their mind is obeying the intellect. When Buddhi says, Shashi, don't get into that trouble, mind says, okay. Shashi, you said you'll get up at this time in the morning. Mind says, get up. I cooperate. You see, the mind is cooperating and our speech is the same, and then my action also falls in line. Such a person is called Yoga Yukta. Also can mean the one who's established in Karma Yoga. I do my duties with the right attitude. That also person's mind becomes quiet. When that happens, Vishuddhatma, remember, mind becomes quiet. I don't add to the crust of my vasanas. Impressions are not increasing. And when that is when I'm getting mastery over my mind. See, Vijit Atma here. Atma here means mind. Atma here is mind. You get mastery over your mind, and Jitendriyaha, mastery over your senses. So when we do this, when we become that Yoga Yukta Purushaha, that person, when all these things come in line, and then I understand Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma. Are, that oneness in me is the same everywhere. Like that Brahmarpanam vision which I got, and that I understood my connection with the entire cosmos, entire beings of this world, plus plants, everything, inert things. I get that understanding. So that oneness we understand. Then what happens? I do actions and it's coming out of fulfillment. So those are not adding to my vasanas. Those are not causing disturbances in me. Kurvanapi na lipyate means they don't touch me anymore and cause disturbances. This is being bound. Bound means making me feel disturbed, making me feel agitated, making me feel like wanting to get away from it. All that's not happening anymore. So I prepare, I understand that oneness, and then experience that liberation in the form of, working in the world. Nobody's going to run away. We'll be where we are and we'll be doing our best with peace and ease of mind. This is what Krishna is promising us. We become an instrument of the Lord, okay? We become an instrument at this time. Karmas will not bind us. We become an instrument. What is this, Bhagwan? What is this becoming an instrument? I will read this because it's a long one, but it's a beautiful shloka. You just listen. I love this rhythm of the shloka. But if anyone wants to, please go ahead, okay? Naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manyeta tattvavit.
Nina?
Naiva kinchit karomiti
Naive kinchit karomiti
yukto
yukto
manyeta
manyeta
tattvavit
tattvavita
pashyan shrunman
pashyan shrunvam
sprishan jigran
sprishan jigran
ashnan gachan
ashnan gachnan
swapan shwasan
swapan shwasan
pralapan visrijan
pralapan visrijan
grinhan
grinhan
unmishan
unmishan
nimishan napi
nimishanapi
indriyan indriyarteshu
indriyan indriyarteshu
vartanta iti dharayan.
vartanta iti dharayan.
Thank you. Excellent. So this is what happens. When you say I want to be an instrument, this is what happens. What happens is I have clear understanding. I am that Atma. And this Atma, pure consciousness. That Sat Chit, I am. Ananda, I am. And then I am the life-giving principle. And this life-giving principle is enabling all the things in this body to function. whether it's walking, whether it's hearing, whether it's seeing, whether it's smelling, whether it's, it's tasting, whether it is touching, whether it is evacuating, whether it's breathing, whether it's digesting, whether it's dreaming, even my thoughts. Can it all happen without life in this body, you think? Without life in this body, this physical body might be present, but it'll be useless. The eyes will still be there, the lungs will still be there, the liver is still there, hands are still there, legs are still there, right? Brain is still there. Zero function. Because of the presence of consciousness, which is giving life, all this equipment is working, is the clear understanding of this person. This is being an instrument. Knowing I am that pure consciousness, in my presence all these are working, is that clear understanding of this person. Of course it'll take time. Of course it takes a lot of, understanding on our part. But you know what? We've never heard of this before. It's now becoming clear to us. So it's a point we should reflect on. Okay? I am the Chaitanya Atma, in whose presence all the instruments, whether it's my body, whether it's this, mind, my buddhi, my senses, everything is functioning. But I, Atma, nothing happens to me. I don't go up and down, whenever, my mind goes up and down. I'm still giving life. I'm still giving life. I'm there. My presence, life happens. Is our clear understanding. Can you imagine? This is, and I mean it, this is their understanding of wise people. This is our understanding when we get the jnanam. With a quiet mind, when we get jnanam, this is where we will be. Peaceful. And so what is a vision? Just like that vision of the Brahmarpanam comes the next shloka. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne
Vidya Vinaya Sampanne
Brahmane Gavihastini
Brahmane Gavihastini
Shuni Chaiva Shvapake Cha
Shuni Sheva Shvapake Cha
Panditaha Samadarshinaha.
Panditaha Samadarshinaha.
This will be the vision of that person. Whether they see an enlightened, another Brahmana, or the one who knows, or has a lot of wisdom, or whether they see a cow, whether they see an elephant, whether they see a dog, or somebody who's very uncultured and low and is eating, survives on dog meat, doesn't matter, shapakecha. This panditaha, this wise person, the one who's understood their true nature, as we've seen, that person looks at all of them with a vision of oneness. Now, please understand, they'll understand that the same truth is everywhere, but doesn't mean when the dog is chasing them, they won't run. Huh? When there's a cow, they know what the place of the cow is. When they see an elephant, they know what its elephant's for. So please don't think that they will not deal with them appropriately. That is wrong. At our level, we have to deal with them. But within them, they know there's the same truth. With that comes so much of more of less and less of criticisms, less and less of judgment, but utilizing it in the appropriate way, dealing with them in the appropriate, that wisdom never goes away. Okay? This is the greatness of this vision. Differences are there, but there's one tattva. This is the Samadarshi. This is the Panditaha. Now, Krishna concludes this in this 5th chapter by tickling our interest in meditation now, because Bhagwan wants us to make this our own. That's why meditation comes. And so much explanation Bhagwan has given before Bhagwan begins the topic of meditation, because we really need to be equipped to meditate properly. And so, in a few shlokas before this too, he talks about meditation, but this is the concluding shloka where he says, Bhoktaram yajñatapasam
Bhoktaram yajñatapasam
Sarvaloka Maheshwaram
Sarvalokamaheshwaram
Suhridam Sarvabhutanam
Suhridam Sarvabhutanam
Jnatva mam shantiricchati.
ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिरिच्छति
Sorry, I said Jnatva mam shantim richati.
ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिमृच्छति.
Thank you very much. So he says, now he starts talking about the practice of meditation, because we hear so much. How do I make this my own? So it's very important. Meditation is a very important thing to get established in this wisdom. For that, we have to meditate. So he says, you understand, when you sit down for meditation, you shut your eyes, you don't sit in a noisy place, a clean, quiet place. All this is to say keeping the world of objects away, meaning quietly, I want to turn my attention towards my true nature. And who are you turning to? Towards the Lord of the whole universe, that Sarvaloka Maheshwara. He is the greatest that you have to know, right? And who am I? I'm Suhrud. I'm the well-wisher of everybody. I'm your friend. Even a creature, little creature like an ant, I love it. No creature is something that I hate, do not like. So the one who knows me as the friend, who knows me as the well-wisher, if you know that, and you know that I'm right here in your heart, always there with me, right? If you know that, you will be at supreme peace. You'll get. Now look, this Bhagwan, he says Sarvaloka Maheshwara, and then says, I'm right here. We're not excluded. Bhagwan, all these days we keep looking at Bhagwan as far away from us. We look at God as something different. Our Hindu philosophy, teachings will bring us so close. In fact, it is you. That's what they want to show. I am the one true self, which is indifferent. We are all looking different. All these things look different. All creatures look different. But there is oneness everywhere. And we conquer the world, and the world will no longer affect us. This is the beauty. So for this knowledge to become my wisdom, and so that I can operate with that wisdom in this world, Bhagavan Krishna will now begin the chapter of meditation in the 6th Dhyana Yoga chapter, which is coming next. So in the 5th chapter, you got a clear idea about Arjuna's question of sannyasa was not appropriate for him. Sannyasa means reduce likes and dislikes. Arjuna has not. So karma yoga for most of is so suitable. So don't have to run anywhere. Don't have to run anywhere. And this karma yoga is a beautiful bridge and will help us, get to the ultimate sannyasa. And then we'll understand, we'll get that vision of that oneness. And when we get that vision of the oneness, we'll then operate as instruments of that Lord. And that, what we understood, what is being an instrument, also we got a clear idea, right? Clear idea of that. And then with that vision, we live in this world, and we do need meditation to make sure that we sit with this wisdom. Is the 5th chapter. I just want to make sure I covered all those topics for you, which I did say. Yeah, in the 5th chapter that I was going to, I'll just go back to that so that, okay, just a second. Yes, you got everything. Okay. Hari Om. Let's see now. Stop sharing. And I see that 27 chat. I don't know what it's all about, but I hope it's
Nothing for you to worry about. So don't worry about it, Shashiji. You want to conclude so that then we can go to the...
Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukha bhag bhaved. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.